Hegseth disclosed secret war plans in a group chat. Hegseth revealed war preparations in an encrypted group chat with a journalist, the White House claimed Monday, confirming a report in the magazine The Atlantic. In a piece released Monday, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, said that National Security Advisor Michael Waltz had unintentionally invited him to the text discussion on the for-profit messaging program Signal. The violation of U.S. national security intelligence was remarkable. In addition to the journalist being unintentionally part of the group, the discussion was held outside of the official channels that are often utilized for very sensitive and secret war preparation. It was primarily procedural and policy texting until the Hegseth text on Saturday, Mr. Goldberg said in an interview. After that, it turned into war preparations, which, to be honest, made me shudder. He said, I reasoned that Houthi targets would soon be bombed if this signal chat was real. According to Pentagon officials and locals, early aircraft struck buildings in areas in and around Sana'a, Yemen's capital, that were believed to be strongholds for Houthi leadership, at around 1:55. Throughout that Saturday and the next several days, the strikes persisted. According to what Mr. Goldberg wrote, Mr. Hegseth informed everyone, including the journalist, that precautions had been taken to keep the material confidential. Using the military abbreviation for operational security, Mr. Hegseth added, At this time we are clean on OPSEC. Mr. Hegseth's placement of U.S. war preparations in a commercial chat group shocked a number of Defense Department officials. They said that engaging in this kind of discussion inside a Signal chat group may be under the Espionage Act, a legislation that governs the handling of private data. According to the authorities, revealing operational war plans before scheduled attacks might potentially put U.S. soldiers in immediate danger. Additionally, this was characterized as a catastrophic compromise of national security by former FBI officers who worked on leak investigations. They discussed a delicate national security issue while remaining anonymous. According to former national security officials, given continuing Chinese hacking attempts, the conduct would be much more heinous if personal smartphones were utilized in the group chat. The story represents one of the most egregious failures of operational security and common sense I have ever seen, according to Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, the leading Democrat on the Armed Services Committee. Because American lives are at stake, military operations must be conducted with the highest discretion and accuracy, utilizing authorized secure channels of communication, he said. A flurry of inquiries was directed at Republican senators. While many expressed alarm, the majority refrained from making any decisions until they had a complete briefing. Senator Roger Wicker, a Republican from Mississippi and the head of the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, said, "It seems that mistakes were made, without a doubt. We'll work to uncover the truth and take the necessary action." The House Intelligence Committee's Republican representative from Pennsylvania, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, said on CNN that his committee will forward an inquiry to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence before deciding if a more thorough probe is necessary. However, Louisiana Republican Speaker Mike Johnson rejected the notion of further inquiries or punishment for the officials in question. Referring to White House officials, Mr. Johnson told reporters at the Capitol, "I'm told they're doing an investigation to find out how that number was included, and that should be that. I don't believe it needs a lot more attention." Speaking to reporters at the White House, Mr. Trump said he was unaware of the Atlantic story. He said, "You're telling me about it for the first time and I don't know anything about it." The National Security Council was contacted by the Pentagon with inquiries on the story. Monday was the first day of Mr. Hegseth's week-long journey to Asia, and he was headed to Hawaii. After arriving in Hawaii, he spoke to reporters who were accompanying him, referred to Mr. Goldberg as a so-called journalist, and when questioned said that nobody was texting war preparations, and that's all I have to say about it. However, it seemed that the White House disagreed with him. In an emailed comment, National Security Council spokesman Brian Hughes said, "At this time, the message thread that was reported appears to be authentic, and we are reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain. A demonstration of the deep and thoughtful policy coordination between senior officials," he said of the thread. During a press conference, State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said that she would not comment on Mr. Rubio's deliberative conversations and referred any more inquiries to the White House. Mr. Vance also voiced his disapproval in the group conversation, calling the timing of the Yemen operation a mistake. In the exchange, he and Mr. Hegseth both maintained that the U.S. Navy's actions to defend maritime channels from Houthi threats were advantageous to European nations. Before the procedure, Mr. Vance wrote, "I don't think the president realizes how contradictory this is with his message on Europe at the moment. I'm willing to support the team's consensus and keep these concerns to myself," he said. "I just hate bailing Europe out again," he continued. Hillary Clinton, his Democratic opponent in the 2016 race, should have been imprisoned for using a private email server to communicate with her staff and others while she was Secretary of State, according to statements made by Mr. Trump on many occasions throughout his first term. In June 2023, Biden's current national security advisor Jake Sullivan sent top-secret messages to Hillary Clinton's private account, Mr. Waltz said on social media. What action did DOJ take in response? Absolutely nothing. Michael Crowley, Adam Goldman, Maya C. Miller, and Miho Kim contributed to the reporting. Helene Cooper works as a journalist for the Pentagon. She has worked as a White House journalist, editor, and diplomatic representative. Additional information on Helene Cooper. As a national security journalist for The Times, Eric Schmidt has over 30 years of experience covering U.S. military affairs and counterterrorism matters abroad. Additional information on Eric Schmidt. The story titled Airstrike Plan was disclosed in group text was published in print on March 25, 2025, in Section A, page 1 of the New York edition.